Good morning, this is Dwayne, and we're doing a series on music theory called Good Stuff You Really Ought to Know About Music. And we've covered a lot of different areas, but we got a lot of different areas yet to go. Today I'd like to briefly cover the 5 main types of scales. And within those main types there's subdivisions, and I've done specialized videos on those subdivisions before, so you can look those up in YouTube if you'd like. But I'd just like to cover the 5 basic types today. The first kind of scale is major. And that's a familiar sound to you. If you've taken piano lessons, you've had to do that endlessly, of course. So this is a C scale, and it's based on a formula of whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay, so if you started on D flat, for example, you'd go up a whole step, and then another whole step, and then a half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So the D flat major scale would be like this. And therefore the D flat scale has 5 flats in it. So if you play in the key of D flat, you'd have 5 flats. Whereas if you play in the key of C, you would have no sharps or flats. If you start on B, a whole step above B is C sharp, whole step above that is D sharp, half step is E, whole step is F sharp, whole step is G sharp, whole step up is A sharp, and a half step up is B. So there's a B major scale, and it has 5 sharps, doesn't it? And you can see why the key of B has 5 sharps in it, because it's based on that scale. Okay, there's 12 different major scales you can play in, so there's 12 different major keys you can play in. Likewise, there's 12 minor keys you can play in. Every major key has a relative minor. And you find that relative minor by going down a step and a half from the major key. For example, if you are in the key of C and you want to know what the relative minor is to C major, you go down a step and a half, and so the scale of A minor would be from A to A using the C scale. That's called the natural minor. Now there's 2 other subdivisions. There's 3 minor scales, 3 varieties of minor scales, and I won't get into that because, like I said, we have other YouTube videos that teach that, the 3 varieties, okay? The other varieties are, that's a natural minor scale. Then there's a harmonic minor scale that raises the 7th degree of the scale, and there's a melodic minor that raises the 6th and 7th on the way up, but lowers them on the way down. So that's a different subject, but there's 3 subdivisions to minor scales. Then the third type of scale, after major and minor, is a chromatic scale. And a chromatic scale, of course, skips no notes. It's just all the notes. So it's all half steps, okay? So that's all you need to know. Incidentally, fingering is logical. You use your thumb whenever you can on white keys, because your thumb's shorter, obviously, and then you use a long finger on the black keys. So I like to do this: thumb, third, thumb, third, thumb. Now we have 2 white keys together, so I use my second finger, then back to third, thumb, thumb, second, okay? So that's a chromatic scale. So we have major scales, minor scales, chromatic scales, and then there's the whole tone scale. Whole tone scale is what it says. It's all whole steps. Whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step. And it sounds, if you build the chords on it, sounds like that. Kind of a otherworldly kind of sound. Okay, that's the 4th kind, and then the 5th kind of scale are called the modes, or the church modes. Okay, and I won't get into those because I have a separate YouTube video on that. But they have to do it like the Dorian scale, you've heard of that, and the Aeolian scale, and the Lydian scale, and the Mixolydian scale, and so on. So there's varieties to that, subdivisions to the modal scales. But the 5 basic types of scales, you remember, are major, minor, chromatic, whole tone scales, and the modes. Okay, that's it for today. If you enjoy these little educational videos, come on over to Play Piano and sign up for them. They're all free. So hope to see you there. Bye-bye for now.